Hi, I am Tavish Carduff, and I am here to represent our raw material for Values and Ideals Week. Quan Tracy Cherry is usually sitting right next to me. This particular Values and Ideals Week, it didn't fit for us to do it together, so that was a difficult thing for us to let go of, but also made sense given the week that it is. Before I get into all that, though, let me tell you where you can get a hold of us right here on YouTube. We have an Instagram, we have a website that has a blog, and come join us. On behalf of Quan and myself, thanks for being here with us. We do a question every week. This week's question is really going to be, do you have a good sense of what your values are? That is the one and only exercise that I recommend for Values and Ideals Week. If you want more, I can always, come up with things to do to check your own values and ideals. But that seems like a really good place for anyone to start, to actually make a list of all of the things that you value and then pay attention to how much time you spend actually doing those things. When you commit it to paper, when you've looked at what means something to you and you've made choices about, I value X over Y and Y over Z, then when you find yourself in a situation where you've got to make a choice, it becomes easier to make the choice. When you understand what serves your heart, what's important to you, the space just opens up to make an easy decision, to not worry about what somebody's going to think about why you made the decision, because it was made genuinely from what your values and ideals are. So value becomes, what are the things that are important to you, but also where do you spend your time? And when we start to look at value from that perspective, we shift the way that we operate in the world. We shift the way that we see most anything. It's fun. Ideals, that's the really fun space. And I like to call it the playground. When we're kids, we get out on the playground, we dream, we hang around on monkey bars and swing and sing songs and have all these amazing things going on in our heads. As we get older, those fun things are replaced by fear and doubt and worry and shame and do I fit in, and whatever host of things you entertain in your own head. And in order to quell those voices, we develop some system of coping. And we each are different. We've each figured out a different way based on the things that we have encountered in our lives. So there's no across the board answer for anyone, except to look at your own stuff and figure out what is really the best way for me to untangle me. And in the very beginning, week 1, we have mentors, where we think about who and how they shaped our thought process from our earliest inklings of what we judge and what we feel strongly about, or what we get bothered by, especially the things we get triggered by. Who were our tormentors? Who taught us the things that make us upset or bothered now? Because those are the issues that root back to the things that keep us from feeling whole in the first place. So week 1 connects to week 7, values and ideals. In the strongest way is that they each start a 6-week cycle, and they each involve a list. One is a list of people. The next one is a list of what's important. And when you make a list of values, when you make a list of ideals, you walk away from it, you come back and look at it later, and you notice, today I feel differently. Today my values have changed. So when we open up the space to breathe around change and to breathe around just these subtle nuances that happen when we know what's important to us, or when we're reacting. And in reaction, we might remember things that were important to us at some point, and we want to hold them up, that we should have been or would have been, or someone else should or would have been doing something different than what is happening right exactly now. Those are the spaces that we can breathe through, open, see all the different roots that come into them, and start to form a sense of the wholeness of our entire thoughts and seeing where we can change those thoughts so that the time that we spend in certain kinds of thoughts, especially the ones that don't feel as good, is limited. And we let them wash through like a wave. They come through, we feel them, and we let them pass. And we know that they're going to come again. So a lot of times our value gets centered around what we are able to get over, what we are able to not only get through, but now have no real attachment to. We leave it in our past. And when we don't consider our past, when we don't take the whole of our experience into consideration, it's very difficult to feel grounded in every moment. And in our raw material, one of our goals is these 12 pillars give you the space to find your center wherever you are. And part of the reason why we are unable for Quan and I to both be here this week is that he's got a physical thing going on, Bell's palsy, and he's almost done with it. But today was a lot of spiritual significance for him and reasons for him to just stay close to home and not do this. And at the same time, both of my parents are dealing with illnesses. It really gives me a sense of a grounded ability to handle each day and whatever comes with each day. And in the past week, we have been thrown, my family, both parents, curveball after curveball. And we've been able to roll with it. We've been able to look at the most ideal situation, hold space for what's going on right now, not know what's going to happen, trust that we're making the right decisions, and take care of ourselves at the same time. Not spend every waking moment attending to this, but also knowing that we can't give enough to all the areas that we want to right now, and being okay with exactly how things are, and being clear on our values so that every single day matches kind of the best that we can make of it. And that has gotten us through this in ways that I wouldn't have imagined I would be able to. It's a lot all at once, but it's a lot that I feel strongly prepared to weather every single day and let all of the feelings about it come up, go away, because my values are clear and my ideal always has them healthy and here forever, which I know can't really happen. But if I imagine that, if my most ideal thoughts are them healthy, moving, walking on the beach, sitting at the pool, watching clouds, enjoying the day, that is the best space I can do for healing for them. So every time I find myself in worry, that's where I go. And that's my tip for the ideal playground. You can do that anywhere. You can do that in the middle of an ICU. You can sit and breathe and imagine the most ideal thoughts that may or may not manifest, but they do get picked up and they do get shared. And even the people around you gravitate towards the room because they feel an energy that feels good. Let's spill a little soul tea. While my dad was very sick this week and moved from one hospital, actually 2 hospitals, to a third in one day, was the day that I was to be inducted in the Kansas Hall of Fame for flying discs. And a great honor. But with both parents sick, I normally would not have gone to attend that event. My dad being attached to Frisbee, my mother being attached to Frisbee, disc sports, ultimate player and a disc golfer from before there were baskets, insisted that I go, insisted that I be there, and made their presence known while I was there in physical and spiritual ways. So what I got from going, and it turned out, as I left, my dad told me he would be fine, and he's still kicking today, so it was worth it to go. It was worth it to accept that honor, to be in that space that wouldn't normally be comfortable for me, but the roots of my family and this work I've done with Ourrawmaterial put me in a space where I could feel the gratitude above the embarrassment that I would normally feel having anyone look at me like that. I valued this in a way that I wouldn't have been able to value it at any other time. So, and that obviously straight from the heart, because you can see it touches at a level that does hit a trigger for me, but the feeling that also is mixed with overcoming that, being in that moment and feeling the love that you let in. Like, it makes me take a deep breath because our hearts open and we become so much more comfortable in our own skin and so much more comfortable being ourselves when we are accepted by others. The way we go about being accepted, I think, makes the difference in how strongly rooted that is. And the difference between superficial acceptance and something that is deeply rooted or connected at the heart. Soul Tea for Values and Ideals Week. Thank you for being here. Kwan will be back next week and we will fight it out with conflict. For this week, if you have the opportunity, sit down with your values and play around with your ideals. See what it feels like. And if it's a practice that feels good, keep doing it as you follow up listening week. Enjoy your week. Thank you.